Wright and Co. Law Offices, October 13th, 3:02. You know, I'm glad we found the urn and all, but poor Mr. Delight got arrested again. Well, supposedly, Mr. Delight was in the CEO's office when the murder occurred. No way, Jose. I don't buy it. But the one who proved that Mr. Delight was there was Mr. Nick himself, at least from what I can understand. Looks like you did too good of a job this time, Nick. She's got a real smug smile. It's like, yeah, Nick, you got your client arrested for murder charges now. Great going, you asshole. I think I'm gonna head back to Karain Village for a little while, if that's alright. Yeah, you are only like 7 years old, bro. You probably shouldn't be here. I'm going to bring the sacred urn back and have some people take a look at it. I want you two to spend some special quality time together, full of love and happiness. Pearl, we're going to a place where a man has just died. It's not exactly date night. You must be relieved when we got the sacred urn back, huh? You bet. But there's something a little different about it. Huh? Don't huh at me. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? It clearly says I am on the urn in the poster. But the urn we got back says Amy, like it always used to. Oh yeah, you're right. Is it possible that urn is a fake? I'm sure Pearls will find out about that once she gets back to Karain Village. Yeah, I suppose. Okay, well, we gotta say hi to our favorite character. Start a mass hideout. Oh, Nicky boy! Maya! Miss Delight. Because of the accent, I hope it's her. I'm a killer, Mr. Wright. Oh god, no, the accent's already going again. Scotland? Scotland? Oh, there we go. Ronnie isn't the thieving's type. He's so honest. He wouldn't even sneak a nap. He's so honest. He wouldn't even steal a glance. A thief? Ha! The very idea. Just can't understand how they can be so different and yet be such a happy couple. Yeah, they sure are different. Come on now, Nicky boy. It's not that mysterious, is it? I was at work one day when two robbers suddenly rushed in. Well, I'm not the kind to just curl into a little ball in a corner, so I fought back. Robbers? Yeah, they took me hostage. I was so frightened. Oh, I think I get it. Did Mr. Delight come running to save you? Yeah, exactly. I remember he looked so handsome in that guard uniform of his. He went... Is that a plastic bag over his head? It does look like something else that I do not wish to specify. It does... No, yeah, it does look like that. I'd be screaming too. He went right up to those two knife-wielding robbers and screamed in their faces. Please stop it, he screamed. I could see the robbers' faces turn pale, all by himself. He came to save me, a total stranger, all by himself. He was so scared that he was crying and shaking, but he still risked his life for me. Wow, that's a great story. Yeah, he may not look it, but in a tough situation, there's no one better. That's why I fell in love with him like I did. Do you know about KB Security? Don't be silly, of course I do. That's where my Ronnie works. So she still thinks he works there, huh? And yet, according to what we heard today, come on, don't tell me you didn't know. Ron Delight was once an employee of KB Security. He was a professional security guard. KB Security CEO's office. It's pretty ballsy to have just your massive safe, like, on display. Hey, it's you guys. Oh, it's Detective Gumshoe. Today was a real train wreck for you guys, huh? Sure it was, pal. But that prosecutor made real fools out of us. Yeah, I feel for you. Wow, that's not like you at all. I thought you'd be more like... Oh, that was great. You guys got what you deserved, pal. Ho, 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 ho. Or something to that effect. Do I really sound like that to you, pal? Yes. The victim's name is Kane Bullard. He was the CEO of KB Security, and a pretty big fella in his own right. His corpse was discovered at 9 this morning. His estimated time of death was 1 in the morning on October 12th. Cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. Probably an object in this room. Happened at exactly the same time that Master Damask was stealing the urn, huh? Bullard's body was stashed away inside that safe. Was that why the outline is like... safe? Well, it is pretty big. Nobody had heard from him. When they opened the safe this morning, out he came. So, what happened to Master Damask? He's at the detention center screaming like a madman. Investigate me again, he keeps yelling. No, I didn't mean him. He's not the real thief anyway, right? Oh, you mean that detective at me? Oh ho ho. Oh, that was great. That guy got what he deserved. Oh ho ho. Now that's the detective I know and love. There's one thing I can't figure out about his first heist. His first heist? Yeah, the Tear of a Manon case. There was a witness on that one. A witness? Here, I saved the newspaper clipping. Since the thief is already under arrest, you guys can keep it. Hey, this guard here. Haven't I seen him somewhere before? Oh, don't tell me it's Larry. It's pretty small, so it's kind of hard to see, but now that she mentions it... Don't tell me it's Larry. What does that word say? Dreelu. Oh, priceless. Okay. English major. You can't even identify the word. It's cut off. Okay, chat. How many fingers am I holding up? How many fingers? Come on. Let's test how smart you are. Hey, that looks like a super soft chair. Let me try it out just for a second. Oh, nice. I feel just like a CEO. Hey, you. Whip me up a cup of some really expensive import tea and some scones. Move it. Ah, this is the life. The victim sat in that chair just before he was brutally killed, you know? Yeah, what the fuck, Maya? Oh! Ah. What did you find out, Nick? This file. It's not about any sort of security operations or anything. This huge file is all about Mask Star to Mask. It's filled with info on them. Hey, Nick. Look at the last page. It's a list. Let's see. Tear of a Manon. 100 grand. This looks like a list of all the treasures that Mask Star to Mask stole. The fucking tape that they've lined out here. They've closed the safe again as well. That's what I don't understand. There are only a few people who know how to open this safe, pal. Yeah, and? Everyone that knows how to open this safe had airtight alibis. I checked. Everyone except one, that is. I'm almost afraid to ask. Former security chief, Ronnie Delight. What? Ron Delight? Okay, what's the big red button? Oh, there's a button here. Let's see. What have you done, Maya? What have you done? That was pretty funny. I never knew Detective Gumshoe could jump like that. What is that button anyway? Sorry. What is that button anyway? It's an emergency buzzer. It says right there on the panel. Oops, you're right. It's written right there. Nick, how many times have I told you to read the instructions first? This alarm's connected to the basement guard room. It's used to summon security up here. Really? Then it's possible on the night of the crime. Oh, so when the CEO is attacked, do you think that maybe he pressed the buzzer? Yeah, I thought about that, so I asked around down there. But they said that the buzzer never went off that night. Also, we couldn't find any fingerprints on the buzzer. KB security guard. Oh, I just remembered Larry might be. Hey Nick, what's up? So he is here. Phoenix, he's your friend. Why are you like so disgusted every time he says hi? You were in this office when the murder took place, weren't you? Why do you say that? This is just a part-time job for me, and I can't operate the equipment. And I'm dumb. Even if it is part-time and you are dumb, you're still in charge of security here. Hey, give me a break. Don't try to pin the whole thing on me. It's not fair, Nick. Anyway, the point is you were here that night, right? Really? Larry's gonna have a psych lock? Come on, Larry. I knew something smelled bad, and it was the butts after all. Ah, Larry! Good to see you with the toilet chums. Pull up a chair. Look at all this equipment. It must be hard to operate. No biggie. I think there's an instruction manual somewhere in this room. Somewhere? Instruction manual? What are you going to do in an emergency? Well, I guess I'd start by calmly looking for the instruction manual. During that time, my partner, the old lady, would calmly look for reading glasses. Oh no, old lady! Did you miss me, Phoenix? Not that old lady. Please, no. 1. Obey thy superior. 2. Respect thy superior. 3. Smile at thy superior. 4. Salute thy superior. 5. Buy donuts for thy superior upon command. It's... No! I was afraid of this. Well, fortunately, she's on vacation. That's why I'm so relaxed right now. Oh, thank God. We're safe. Okay. Larry has a psych lock. We're gonna come back to Larry in a moment because there might be some other things to gather. Okay, is there anything new here? Looks to me like it's been dry for several days. There's something suspicious about this paint mark. The bottom left part of it is shaped oddly and it's shocking pink. I don't see how the color of the paint is in any way important. I mean, this is clearly important though. When was it that you hired Detective Atme again? About 20 days ago. And when was it that mass calling card arrived? That was about 10 days ago. So we sent a calling card to the very place he was hired to guard. On the night of the theft, did you notice anything suspicious about Detective Atme? No, I couldn't have. After all, he was hidden the entire time. I never even caught a glimpse of him. He claims that's the way he always operates. That's just what he says so he can have an alibi while he commits the thefts himself. Yeah, he was caught in the crime scene photo dressed as Mask pretty well. I'm so glad that you got your sacred urn back. Yes, but there's still something that bothers me about it. What is it? I'm not exactly sure, but somehow the urn that came back seems different. Really? You wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Miss Andrews? No, I don't know anything. Why would I? Oh shit, she's hiding something too. Miss Andrews, do you know anything about the sacred urn? Do I know anything? I'm in charge of the entire treasure exhibit. The urn that was submitted before the court yesterday. It's obviously not the same urn as before. Well, that's true. Maybe it isn't the same. It could be a fake. A fake? You're the one who said it wasn't the same. So that's the most obvious explanation. Do you have any evidence that the urn that was submitted at the time that the trial was genuine? I don't actually know what's going on with the urn myself yet. Okay, we gotta do some more investigation. I don't think I have enough evidence yet. Should investigate and gather some more clues before I try again. On the night of the crime, were you working hard like you were supposed to? Of course I was. Why wouldn't I have been? You have evidence that I left my position, or are you just pulling my chain? The evidence that Larry was not man in his station when the murder happened is as simple as... I was scared for a minute, no. Larry seems pretty relieved. Paying the KB security bill at around 1 AM the night of the crime. So was he wandering the office? Yes, okay, he was. This wallet, you know about this, right? I've never seen it before. Liar, you hand-delivered this wallet to Miss Delight just yesterday. Give me a break, you can't expect me to remember every little thing that happens. Well, I do expect you to remember something that happened just yesterday. At the time of the murder, you were away from the security guard office. That is pretty terrible. This entire scenario could have been prevented if Larry had simply manned his post. Yeah, but there's something you didn't think about. What's that? My shift that day didn't start until 10 PM. The murderer might have snuck in before then. Well, the time of death is at 1 AM. That doesn't necessarily prove it. I guess used at 1 AM. So I think that's what it was. Larry, when you use this key card, does it leave a record? Yeah, it does. But I can't show the record to just anyone, you know. That keycard data was already made public in the trial today. Well, I didn't know that. Any kind of request for info like that is supposed to go through me. Boy, does that sound a bit arrogant come from a part-time guard. Anyway, according to the data, the door to the CEO's office was opened with this card. Furthermore, it was most definitely used at 1 AM, the night of the murder. No way. Yeah, someone used this to get into the CEO's office. What was the CEO doing in his office at 1 AM? Oh shit, he's corrupt. Oh shit, he's corrupt. Okay, hang on. Because there was a blackmail letter too. And Luke Atme's previous thing was only worth 100 grand. So what if Luke is doing all these crimes, he's colluding with the CEO to then sell them. The CEO is kind of given the information that he knows so he can find high-profile steals. But Luke kind of snapped and somehow killed him. That happened at 1 AM on the night of the crime, right in the middle of your shift. Oh. Larry, you can't duck your responsibility this time. Yeah, no. Ah, my Donna happened. Huh? Your Donna? Got a bad feeling about this. Yeah, my Donna called and said I have to talk to you right away. So I went to see her and he was standing right there next to her. Who was? Her new boyfriend. It was like some horrible joke. Before I knew what was going on, the guy socked me right in the kisser. Well, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. How can I ever make up for it, Nick? What could I do? Hey, Nick, as long as he's offering, why don't you show him the evidence we've got? She's right. Maybe we'll get at least one bit of useful information from him. I accidentally pressed the buzzer earlier. Yeah, I heard it. So that was you, huh? You're a security guard, aren't you? Why didn't you come to the CEO's office? Well, this is the 3rd floor of the basement. The CEO's office is on the 1st floor. I thought it would be a good idea to adopt a wait-and-see approach. Oh, that security alarm's been blaring for like an hour now. They actually might be getting killed. Oh, we should check that out. You call like the hospital or something, I need an ambulance right away. Okay, we're just in the McDonald's drive-thru. We'll be there real soon. Siren blaring in the McDonald's drive-thru. It's like, come on! I need my nuggets. Is it true that the buzzer didn't go off that night? There must be a record, right? You must have had a look at it, right? Of course I did. And I couldn't possibly have made a mistake either. Do you think you could take just one more look for me? Pretty please? Oh, okay. Just can't say no to you, Maya. He's probably right. I don't think even Larry can make a mistake like... What is it? What's wrong? I made a mistake. Huh? But how? It can't be. It's impossible. Okay, enough already. What about the records? That night, it went off just once. In the morning at around 1 a.m. Okay, I know the CEO... I think the CEO is still corrupt. But this poor fucker... America's just saying, oh my god, he's got a wrench! Larry, for fuck's sake. The buzzer went off once at 1:02 a.m. Wait, 1:02 a.m.? Is it that specific? Is it that specific? It's not gonna be like the buzzer was pressed after he died. Larry, what the fuck? You guys have really made me reflect on the way I've been living. But the only problem is with all this reflecting, where's the time for love? Frankly, I think reflecting is a bit overrated, you know? This guy reflects about as much as a piece of black carpeting? I think that's a lost in translation, but I think maybe it meant black tile. Black carpet's not gonna be a reflective surface. Oh no, it doesn't reflect. Right, that's the point. Okay, comedy major? Does this guy even have a funny degree? I've been watching this stream for like an hour and a half, and to be frank with you, I'm quite disappointed. Mr. Bullard must have had the chance to learn a lot of secrets through doing this kind of work. Oh, and I don't know how to put this, but the guy was kind of a money grubber. Really, me too. I just love money. I can't ever get enough. Please stop leaning in towards me like that. You aren't getting to my wallet. Anyway, it looks like he did some pretty shifty stuff to earn his millions. He's corrupt. Okay, I've called this. He's corrupt. Apparently, he was involved in selling trade secrets between rival companies. Oh, that's pretty dirty and underhanded. Yeah, oh, KB Security used to head security operations against Mask Star to Mask. What, really? Yeah, and after screwing up so many times, the company's reputation really took a nosedive. So it really was Bullard who sent Ron the blackmail letter, huh? This time I want to hear the whole truth. Your life depends on it. Okay, but before we get on to, you know, this important information, why were you fired? Like, what? Did you fuck up, Ron? I'm begging you. Please don't tell Desi. Please. Don't worry. We haven't told anyone yet. Criminal, thief. She'd never forgive me. My marriage will be over. Knowing that, why did you become a thief in the first place? Because Desi spends money like it's water. There's no job in the world that could bring in enough money, except being a thief. At least that's what I thought anyway. Is he actually a criminal? Mr. Delight, do you still insist that you were Mask Star to Mask? Isn't that what I've been saying since yesterday? So that night you didn't go to Lordly Taylor, you went to KB Security, right? Yeah, so I went to KB Security at the time the blackmail note said I should. Alright, what happened next? Well, I used to work there, so I knew where the CEO's office was. I knocked, but there was no answer. So then I used the keycard to unlock the door. That's probably when he dropped his wallet. When I went into the CEO's office, someone was in there. Someone? Then suddenly they bashed me over the head, bam. Who could it be? The person ran away while I was still stunned. When I came to my senses, the sight I saw left me speechless. The dead body of the CEO was right there in front of me. I thought I'd die myself. Anyway, I thought I should do something with the body. So that's why you put it in the safe? Ron, what the fuck? What the fuck, Ron? I used to be the chief of one of the security teams, so I knew how to open it. Okay, and what did you do after that? Well, I got out of there for starters. I was the one to set up the security cameras in that building, so I knew how to avoid being spotted by them. The first heist. Hey, this is an article about my debut heist. No, Ron, you gotta stop this. Boy, that was a tough one. Before I knew it, they were hot on my trail. But Mask Star to Mask, he must have gotten away, right? It says in the article he disappeared. That's right, I got a sudden burst of inspiration. I hid my Mask Star to Mask costume in a nearby plastic bucket. Then I quickly changed into my security guard uniform. Pretty clever, eh? Wow, awesome. Hey, hold the phone. regarding his photo. Is this you, Mr. Delight? Yeah, that's right. Nice trick if I do say so. Ron, are you the criminal? It's so hard to tell, as you might suspect Detective Atme found the disguise. He truly deserves the title of Ace Detective. Detective Atme found the Master the Mask disguise. That's interesting. Yes, and I heard that he brought it home with him. Anyway, a few days after that, I received the first of the blackmail letters. Blackmail letters? You got them starting when? Tell me more now. Hey, calm down. Don't get so worked up. Okay, like, is he the actual Mask Star Damask, or is he just delusional? It's so hard to tell anymore. So did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of a Man on heist. That first letter, it said, I know you did it. So someone found out about your true identity just like that. It's not easy being a master thief, you know. Okay, working theory. He's just delusional, and Atme has taken advantage of that fact to play into his fantasy and actually commit the crime. So in the end, I had to give up on the treasure I went through all that trouble to steal. Is that right? Hey, hang on a second. What do you mean you had to give it up? Oh, don't worry. After I put the jewel in the safe deposit box the letter specified, someone sent me $10,000. No one said anything about being worried, you know. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. Okay, so he is colluding. He is actually colluding. Luke Atme is basically manipulating him to do the atrocities. They were instructions on how to steal a crown or paint or some other rare treasure. They showed security blind spots, escape routes, and even suggested training methods. So you mean that the one who planned the heist wasn't you? No, it wasn't. I only planned the very first one. After that, I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. It sounds like Mr. Delight is thankful to the person that was blackmailing him. So Ron Delight was Master Damask after all. But someone else is behind the thefts. Someone who planned them all out in detail. Okay, so Luke Atme is still the criminal. Apart from the first one. All I had to do was deposit the treasures I stole into the safe deposit box. Then I just waited for the cash to come in the mail. But you try not to look so gleeful about it. So you went after the sacred urn because of one of those plans too? Well, see, truth is I've never seen the urn. All I did was follow the instructions and steal what I was told to steal. Mr. Delight, is everything you've just told me the truth? Yes, but please don't tell Desi. He was stealing as directed by blackmail letters. RT full-on Copian. No, because look, Mask Star Damask is still the product of Luke Atme. Luke Atme is behind him. He's invented this character. It's still Luke Atme. Can't believe this might be happening. Stop deluding yourself. But I did! What I said from the moment that we met Luke Atme and that I placed a McDonald's Happy Meal down on it is that he is behind this crime. That's what I actually said. And although Ron might now be Master Damask, he's not the full-on criminal behind this case. Because Luke is the mastermind. Ron was the criminal in a previous case. He's changing his testimony. Take that. RT is an Ace Attorney witness confirmed. How much are we bet that it's him? That it's the same person? How much do you want to bet? Because honestly, I'm pretty confident on this one. Fuck! The bet wasn't specific that they're the same person. I staked a McDonald's Happy Meal on the premise that Luke Atme was the mastermind behind the plot. And I stand true to that he is the mastermind. I know the testimony I've given, Your Honor. Objection! But it's lies. This is not what the McDonald's Happy Meal was bet on. Didn't realize this case was the fucking like Twitch chat McDonald's Happy Meal turnabout. I'm literally a lawyer. Give us your Happy Meal. God damn it. Someone's just... I might owe chat a McDonald's Happy Meal. Mr. Kane Bullard, do you swear that it wasn't you who killed him? Yes, of course. I could never. I'm not lying. All I did was hide his body in the safe. I don't know how that's gonna hold up, Ron. You've kind of fucked it. But then I was afraid they'd discover what I did, so I turned myself in yesterday. Why? Well, if the judge had ruled that I was guilty of robbery, then I'd have an alibi, right? Oh, I guess so. You're really clever, Mr. Delight. Guess I have no choice but to take Mr. Delight at his word. Oh shit!
Take that!
And that's why it's Luke Atney! That's exactly the verdict he wanted! It's back on! He's the mastermind! Luke did the killing! It's still Luke! We might not be going to McDonald's yet. Sacred urn, Mr. Nick. I took it back to Karain Village to have it examined. And, what did you find out? Well, there's no need to worry. They say it's the real urn. Woo, that's a relief. I was really worried. But there's one small problem. Problem? These cute little pink splotches. They said that it's paint, and that they were put on the urn recently. Okay, and that's the proof that we need for Adrian that it's the genuine urn. This box is something about it's bothering me. It's the box the urn was in. It looks like there's some pink paint in it too. And it's definitely the same color as the stuff on the urn. I think I now know how the paint got on it now. Alright, let's investigate again, Nick. Finally adding these as clues. Mr. Nick, could it be that this odd shape is... Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it. Ah, that's the box the sacred urn was in. If you look here, there's a little bit of paint on the box as well. Wow, you're right. Look, it matches. The box of the sacred urn fits in the gap perfectly. I think it's all starting to become clear. That much closer to solving the mystery of what happened to the urn. Screw you, I'm ordering myself McDonald's. I'm winning this trial. It's Luke Atney. He still could have been in the costume. Oh my god. If he was at the building, he stole it on a different day. He was there 20 days. It's 1 a.m., but he was there for 20 days. That is Luke Atney. I've cracked it. McDonald's cancelled. I've got it, and that the paint was accidentally spilled at some point. The box was already stolen and hidden under the statue for safekeeping. I've got it. The crime happened earlier, before the murder. And then Luke Atney took revenge on Kane Bullard, who he was conspiring with to sell the artifact, but then he also needed to eliminate Ron in the process. And so he framed him. I've got it. I've got it. Okay, no, that's sorry. Let's get back to playing the game. Sorry to break it to you, but the urn is the genuine article. Pearls went back to Karain Village and had it examined. Is that right? That's nice, but I don't see how. What she discovered was that the urn had been broken again. Did you say again? Yes, it was broken once a year ago. And now it looks like the same thing has happened. And quite recently, too. Recently? Are you saying that this urn was broken recently? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. How do you think it was broken recently? How do you know? Because it says something different on it. This poster, it was made recently, right? Poster? Ah, the poster for the exhibit. At the time when this photo was taken, the urn said I am on it. But now, for some mysterious reason, it says Amy. When the urn was fixed, the letters were transposed. Oh, we got her. I am, what does that even mean? I don't know anything about that. Even if the urn was broken, I had nothing to do with it. Huh? Yes, that's it. It must have been one of the people at the photo shoot. They probably dropped it. I'm sure that's what happened. Looks like she's not going to give up that last cyclock so easy. Do you have any proof the urn was broken here at Lordly Taylor? The box has paint in it. Well, Miss Andrews, this urn has these pretty little pink paint splotches on it. We got her. And there's some on the box that the urn was stored in too. No matter how you look at it, the paint seems to be exactly the same, wouldn't you say? Can you prove that the box was dropped here in the basement warehouse? If you put this box into the impression in the paint, you can see it fits perfectly. Which means that this box was dropped right over there. There we go. We got through. I'm so sorry. I was the one who broke the urn. Boy, does this make me feel like some sort of evil school teacher. I'm a terrible person. Not only did I break it, but I tried to hide what I did. Well, that's not so hard to understand, is it, Pearly? No, not at all. I know just how she feels. It happened about 2 weeks ago. Just after the poster photo was taken on the same day the urn arrived here. I thought I'd put it away down here for safekeeping. I was carrying it in the box when I tripped on the paint can and lost my balance. The box I was carrying crashed to the ground. I heard a terrible noise and thought my heart was going to stop. Fearing the worst, I opened the lid of the box and that's when it happened. The broken pieces of the urn fell out of the box and landed right in the paint. Oh, this is a fucking disaster. I was in shock. I let out a huge scream. Well, I knew it was the most important treasure in all of Karain Village. So I tried as hard as I could to fix it. Fortunately, the shards are pretty big. And that's when the I am got changed to Amy. I didn't know how it was originally written. Any sane person fixing it would have assumed it said Amy. Any sane person, really? Pearls, this isn't about you. There were no paint marks on the walls and floor of the warehouse when we were here. Well, there's good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain train hall. And I realized that the statue will be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I see, now it makes perfect sense. The day after the urn was stolen, we came here again. At that time, the statue had been moved and the paint was clearly visible. She's right about that. Well, Miss Andrews? Oh, what, I don't know anything about that. I placed it to cover the paint, so why would I move it again? Well, then who was it? Who would have done it and why? I'm still trying to work out that bit. I think the picture was taken on a different night. I think Luke has done it both times. It looks like there's some connection between the Sacred Urn and the murder case. Why? Why do you think so, Nick? Because that night, the real thief, Ron DeLight, was at KB Security. So then why did another masked Star Damask show up here? It's back on! The murder trial is starting tomorrow, but it looks like that thief is going to be making another appearance. You won't believe how many people are here for the trial. Well, it is a murder case. People get very excited for some reason. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door. Next door? Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmey's trial today. They say they're going to try him as Masked Star Damask. Already? That was fast. Boy, I'd love to see Masked Star Damask's trial. Do you really think there's a connection between the thief and the murderer, Nick? It's possible. But today's trial is a race against the clock. Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always. I'm afraid that's not an option. It's because Atmey's trial is happening too. Because Atmey was the real Masked Star Damask in this crime. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron DeLight. The defense is ready, Your Honor. You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the weak. Okay, settle down now, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Gatto. Ron DeLight is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Gatto. Ha! Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war, but that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. This is the fucking first cup of coffee of the day. I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee. 17 cups of coffee during any given trial. But the first one is always the best. Oh, Mr. Gatto, your witness. Okay, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Ron DeLight, has to say for himself. That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard at his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, he had ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. 1 a.m., huh? You're absolutely sure about that? Yes, that's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow and my internal clock was also a bit. 1 a.m.? That's the exact time the victim, Mr. Bullard, was murdered, correct? It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure. It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere. Does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then? Oh, of course, they'd say things like, steal this or take that. Aha, why don't you save those for later, Mr. DeLight? Let's not incriminate yourself any further. One case at a time. Said to bring $50,000. Money, eh? A perfect motive for committing murder. Oh, but wait. I never intended to pay that money anyway. Oh, is that right? After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of. The blackmail threat didn't scare me. It wasn't going to cause me trouble or anything. I don't think that's true. It's what you're being blackmailed about anyway. The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct? I'm sure it was referring to the whole Masked Star Damask thing. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullard didn't have anything on me. Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as my Desi believes in me. That's why Mr. DeLight didn't believe he was Masked Star Damask. That's why I knew they were just hollow threats. Okay, but that's not true. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. clear threat. No? How is it not that? Used to be a security chief for KB Security, right? Yes, that's right. Security chief? You? And yeah, a year ago you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge? A perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say? Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job. Well, the world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that. I needed money. You needed money? Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby. Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough. So I stole data from the company. Oh no. Come again? KB Security has a lot of security info at all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief, you stole some data and sold it. Mr. Bullard found out and I was fired immediately. Like, Ron, please. We must keep pressing. Why would you do something like that, Ron? Well, for Desi's hobby, what else? Wasting money, huh? It's not a waste. So Miss Delight doesn't know her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. Objection! Deferring the mask out of mask. Wait, what? Is this different? I'm afraid that reason isn't gonna hold up anymore. What do you mean? The victim had no proof the defendant was masked star to mask. I thought I already pressed that statement. But you were the one who stole company secrets only 1 year earlier. But that was all over once I was fired. But it is true that the fact that I stole secrets was kept under wraps. Even so, there was no reason for me to pay up now a whole year later. I wonder if you would have had a problem if that ever became public knowledge. I don't know if he strictly would, but we're gonna go out on a limb and say it's an issue. Mr. Delight, I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a company data thief was made public. Why would Mr. Delight want to keep his data stealing secret from going public? Oh, because Desiree doesn't know. Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday. Huh? What doesn't? I think you must have been scared, very scared, of having a certain person find out your secret. Miss Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife. But listen to me, my Desi, she's... Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins. Miss Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. That is how this murder came about. Oh! No, everything is falling neatly into place for him. But Luke at me knew this, and he was working with Bullard. It's gonna get back to Luke. Just you wait, just you wait. I'm gonna be right. What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now, tell us. We're all ears. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Like, some people saying that, like, they don't believe it was Luke who did the murder. Like, literally his silhouette. You're coping. It's, who else do you think that is? Suddenly I was hitting that forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there, dead. No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that. What are you saying? I really was attacked. We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination. Was he already dead? Was he still alive? Maybe he was the one who hit you in the first place. That's a good question. What do you think, Mr. Wright? Like, Ron, he's really not helping us much, is he? That's a great question. Ron, you're on trial for murder. I've been wearing that, I would have been killed. Could you please clarify what you were referring to? Why, my mask star to mask costume, of course. Wait just a moment. Mask star to mask? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dress as mask star to mask. Then I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security. Ha! My 6th cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly. Is he actually on his 6th cup of coffee? We've been keeping count. I don't think it's 6. I thought we were on 4. This is only his 4th cup of coffee. You're a liar, Gatto. He was the mastermind, of course. Why were you dressed up as mask star to mask? Why, because I'm mask star to mask, of course. What are you talking about? Mask star to mask trial is being held next door. Ah, yes, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the mask star to mask issue. Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. That's why it took a lot longer than I'd expected. Took a lot longer? What is he talking about? What do you mean by took a lot longer? Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught in the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body. Not a great image, Ron. What was that? Back up a second. Yes? You were the one that hid the body in the safe. Well, yeah. Jesus Christ, Ron. Inconceivable. Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking? I actually do agree with the judge here. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine? Oh, what? The answer is simple. When they take them off. Do you mean that Mr. Delight hid the body because he's the murderer? Ha! So you're not as stupid as you look. His metaphor this time was really obscure. Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you? Oh, well, yes. Why am I the only one not in the loop here? How does it feel, Your Honor? I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes. This is gonna be something important with the time here. Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway? Well, because it wouldn't fit in a... I tried to stuff it in. There was a meat grinder in his office, Your Honor, and, well, I only got his hand in. I couldn't fit the entire left, side of his arm and his shoulder blades. You know, I stuck him in head first, but, he got a bit stuck after his neck. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body? And spend 10 whole minutes to do it? Under those circumstances? What circumstances? Oh! Hey, Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would show just what those circumstances were? Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? And what might this be? The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. If the button in the office is pressed, a security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m. What? If Mr. Ron Delight truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as that buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way. Ha! Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea there was security personnel in the building. Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as the chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them. But as it turns out, the guard never came. That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser. Once again, this is your friend, Phoenix. We called the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious? So he fainted? That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body. So what are you trying to say? Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, it can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right. Whoever it was, they knocked out Ron Delight and then pressed the buzzer. I've been forced to eat crow. I wonder what blend number crow-flavored coffee is. Forced to eat crow? To admit that one was wrong or accept that one has been defeated. Oh, okay. English major. However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer? Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? Because they were running away, but they knocked Ron unconscious, so they wanted security to come and catch Ron. That's what it was. Why didn't the real killer sound the emergency buzzer? I think they were trying to call the guard. The killer knew that if they pressed that button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted. Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose? Yes. Although as it turned out, he never showed up. Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time. When that buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, Ron Delight, who was out cold. And the third person, who has the silhouette of Luke at me for some reason. The real killer in this situation. If the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room will be the victim and Ron Delight. And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer. Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron Delight for the murder. It's like he's going to have the best comeback. And it's just like, give me one moment to refresh here, Phoenix. Nick, you mean the real killer is... We're going to drag that person in here right now. But who is it? I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to KB security that night. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard. Who was it that framed Mr. Ron Delight for the murder of Kane Bullard? Detective Luke Atme. He's the only one who could have done it. Ace detective. Luke Atme? You mean Masked Star Damask did it? Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Masked Star Damask. Oh no. Turnabout nuggets. Look, we were both right, okay? I said he was behind the crime. He might not have been Masked Star Damask, but he was behind the crime. The thing is, he still could have been Masked Star Damask in the picture. He was Masked Star Damask in this instance. He is in actuality the true murderer of Kane Bullard. Here we go. I'm gonna prove it's him in the costume. Mr. Wright, explain yourself! When Luke Atme confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom. Of course, a famous detective was unmasked as well as Masked Star Damask. Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along. To be found guilty? Masked Star Damask had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. He was stealing the urn at Loreley Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Masked Star Damask was Luke Atme's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi. A guilty verdict as an alibi? The bet's only as good when your life's the ante. You're goddamn right, Gatto. Let's go. Oh, Phoenix, for your client. Take the pat of trust. Mia. Your Honor, the defense requests an immediate recess. Ha. So that's your answer, huh? Very well. I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Luke Atme to the stand. Yes, Your Honor. Here we go. Wait, let's go.
Hee. Well, Sir Detective Atme.
Ha! Ha ha ha. I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly.
Oh no, Sir Detective Atme. You were the one who...
Who's this? There's another judge. I never thought we'd see one. He looks fake. Wait, don't hand your verdict yet, please. My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law, and I wish to file an accusation against this man, Luke Atme.
Accusation? You accuse Masked Star Damask?
That man is not Masked Star Damask. He's just a ruthless murderer who was Masked Star Damask, but for a fraction of a moment, for one crime. Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. That was a quick 20 minutes. I need to find some solid proof, and it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Well, how do you do, sir lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Masked Star Damask. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Masked Star Damask. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. Oh, it's clicked. Kane Bullard found out what Atme was doing and orchestrating the crimes. Very well then, Luke Atme. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? I was stealing the urn as Masked Star Damask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Master Damask was the same time as the murder. But we've already worked this out. This photo was not taken the same night. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene. Everything else up until now is all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point. That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lorley Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. Hey, Nick. Isn't there something odd about this? Huh? Detective Atme was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lorley Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona. You know, that's true. It's kind of odd. Who cares if the speckled urn? He knows it was speckled as well because of the paint. We never actually read the card. That means he's already stolen it. And he just moved it. Lorley Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullard. Unless I had an accomplice. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse. And this picture that supposedly captures it. Got to be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place. And there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Very well, let's hear what you have to say. I mean, there is no statue, too. The funny part is right here. Why this? This is a blood stain. Ah, blood! Now this case is getting interest. Judge, what do you think you'd do? I want something more exciting. Wouldn't it be funny if I had to preside over a case where it's a serial killer? Now that would be exciting. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse, it turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains? Well, the statue was covering it. Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. Oh, okay, so she covered it up. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night? Can you do it, Nick? Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, hope you were prepared with your answer. Loudon, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? It was still Luke. The one who moved the statue is none other than Luke Atme. Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? Luke Atme, you pretended to be Master Damask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lorley Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue. A single fatal flaw! Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. On the night in question, Luke Atme went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lorley Taylor at this time. Okay, yeah, we got it. The statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime. And it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke Atme had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, he took this picture days before the murder took place. Fucking called it. So on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory. So to speak, for some fucking reason. Okay, right, so this is apparently a southern expression. This stock image is fantastic for portraying what's going on here. The cat is fucking spooked. And that is why Luke Atme had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match with the way it had been in his photo. We got him. Grotto, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down. My 11th cup. My bowels are starting to feel weak at this point. I've destroyed most of my inner intestines. My stomach is unfortunately churning and I don't feel like I'm long for the world. My entire body is shaken with the preposterous amounts of caffeine making their way through my system. I see into the 4th dimension now, Your Honor. I can now see heat. It's quite fascinating. He'd be fucking out of it. If this was really his 11th cup, this is how he'd be saying it. My 11th cup! I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in the box, and Savari! It was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th. I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. That is not true because he knew it was speckled already. Mr. Atme, if you are really Master to Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Master to Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true. But so what? Truth be told, there is no way that Master to Mask could have known about this pattern. What do you mean? This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor. The urn was broken due to human error. Or should I say, an error-prone human. Bit harsh, Phoenix, but alright. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. You can't be serious. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. You say that Luke Atme was the one who killed Kane Bullard. But let me ask you this. Why would he do that? Ha 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 ha! An excellent point. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were. I'd be honored to, Sir Old-Timer. I, Luke Atme, had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master to Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Master to Mask. That is why Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. No, you were being blackmailed. Can I just be... letter? There we go. Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme? When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction? It's the red diamond. Hang on. How am I showing this one? Uh-oh. Oh, the gem is blue. That's it. We got it. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the tear of a man on the stolen jewel. What about it? The problem is this jewel's color. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel is blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day. Yeah. Red? Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the tear of a man on that Master to Mask stole at all. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme. Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You've been personally involved in every single Master to Mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received the jewel as your reward. Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. All he had to do was just not be wearing that. Isn't that wild? He could have got away with it very easily. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Atme's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep a secret. So just what was that identity? But it was him! Luke Atme was Master to Mask. Okay, so what do you want? Looking at the menu, got a hamburger meal, there's a cheeseburger, it's chicken nuggets, 4 pieces. Get some fish fingers, it's a bit lighter on the stomach. The concept of Master Damask was embodied by Luke Atme and Luke Atme alone in this case. Ron Delight had nothing to do with it despite being the real Master Damask. In this case, Luke Atme embodied the role. Because think about it. Master Damask didn't do anything outside of steal the urn where Luke Atme was him. I'm right. Nate, thanks for 1,000 bits. All 6,300 of us will take you to small claims court for this Happy Meal. I must say, this sudden change of heart doesn't reflect well on you. Just skip over this bit. Skip over this bit. It's irrelevant. McDonald's is cancelled. He did signify and embody the concept of Master Damask in this case, but he was also a blackmailer. Luke Atme was a blackmailer. Objection. Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? Kane Buller was blackmailing Luke Atme. But Ron Delight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. Did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of a Man on Heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I see plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ron Delight was actually Master Damask. That's what we are claiming. But, except in this instance as well, because Luke Atme embodies the role of him. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Luke Atme. Shh! Silence! You say that I, Luke Atme, was blackmailing Ron Delight. In which case, I would naturally know all about his relation to Master Damask. Well, yes. Ron Delight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means, I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. During the first crime, how did Luke Atme know that Ron Delight was Master Damask? It is in the newspaper clipping, because that's Ron. This newspaper clipping. There's a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Master Damask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Master Damask was really Ron Delight. But remember, in this crime, he also was Master Damask. Because Master Damask didn't commit a crime in this case. McDonald's is cancelled, Your Honor. Why you? How dare you expose me like that? Why I've never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective, and also Master Damask. Why can't you understand that? I'm afraid you are neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity. Why you? How dare you even dare imply that someone killed? Oh, gee. Okay, he's just going. He's having a moment. He's having a moment. Get it out of his system. Olive, please prepare a cell for Mr. Atme. The hammer that strikes too fast has no time to aim. There's still one thing you have yet to prove. What's that? Just because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB security, then I don't see how a verdict can be delivered. God damn, he's good. What happens if I just say, I don't know. Don't know what's going on, Your Honor. I can't prove it. Unfortunately, that's as far as you'll go, Mr. Trite. What do you mean? I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean. What? Have you forgotten? Luke Atme is here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial and face his guilty verdict as Master Damask. No. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I don't know if this is a love-win scenario. I'm not feeling it. I am the ace detective as well as Master Damask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delight will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is... Don't give up now, Nick. We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and... By then, it'll be too late. Huh? Why? Double jeopardy. Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts. Mr. Atme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Master Damask, which means he will be innocent as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned. Hang on. There could be a Deus Ex Mia. I think I see it. Oh shit, that's not Mia! Your Honor, when you were a child, this is what your report card said every year. Has poor hearing, often makes mistakes as a result. How did you... Phoenix, raise your head up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? You foolish fool. A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice. No way. Wait, no, hang on, wait. I thought it was Franziska. That's embarrassing. Whoops. It's Deus Ex Mia. Long time no see, Phoenix. Mia, Your Honor. Just now you said something very interesting. You've examined every statement the witness has made here today. Yes, that's true, but... Unfortunately, Your Honor, you're forgetting something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, the witness made a number of remarks. Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all? I am the ace detective as well as Master Damask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Ron Delights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Oh, okay, right. Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever. Very well. Then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question him. Is that all right with you, prosecutor? Is something the matter, Mr. Gatto? Nothing. Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. I thought it was Franziska. But no, it was a Deus Ex Mia. Indeed, it was true I was not a Lordly Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request. I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph ready. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Ron Delight. And thanks to the keycard and wallet, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once. The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Damask outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter. The victim likely just mistook the color of the jewel. Zvari. Therefore, all the evidence points to that poor boy. Okay, how do you know all that, though? But how did you know about the emergency buzzer? The police investigation documents went directly through me, and I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, Sir Lawyer. We cannot postpone Luke Atme's trial any longer. This is your last chance. Hang on a sec. Just one chance. Ha! It seems that the party's about to begin. Cup number 17. The last cup. Actually, objection! That's cup number 18. Case closed. You lose. Goodbye. How do you know the buzzer only sounded... He's not supposed to know that. The police didn't even know. Mr. Atme, about this last remark. Objection! You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement. Mr. Wright! I will hold you to your end of the bargain. What? He didn't even let me say anything. Well, Ron, I guess you're going away a long time. How do you know Mr. Delight was wearing his outfit? Objection. No. Oh. I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Gatto. Mr. Atme, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder. How can you say that? Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Atme? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Damask outfit. Is that correct? Indeed, that's what I said. My deductions are absolutely foolproof. More like your deductions prove that you're a fool. When exactly did we learn the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as Master Damask when he went to the scene of the crime? That was, it was just a few hours ago. Yeah, because no one knew. And he was in the other trial. That's it. That's right. The defendant had yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should have known this are those who have been watching this trial. There is no way that you should have known about that. There is one and only one way for Detective Atme to have found that out. Only one? One way, you say? Please recall, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer. Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to reason that the real killer had also seen Ron Delight. Impossible. Detective Atme, you saw Masked Star Damask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bullard and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known what Ron was wearing. Good God. Yeah! It's an earthquake! Hold on, guys! Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one by myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. That's the same line you gave yesterday. Yeah! Oh, oh. Someone check the elevator. No McDonald's. I've doubled down. Luke Atme was Masked Star Damask as far as this case is concerned. What was my statement? That Luke Atme and Masked Star Damask in this case were the same person. Well, guess what? They were. Yes, for you see, chat. It was I that have taken your McDonald's away. I won my bet on a technicality. Case closed. Von Karma, yes. I really am Masked Star Damask. Not in this case. Huh? So thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it you said? Double jeopardy. Now that you mention it! Oh shit, the double, no! Guys! You've lost because of the double jeopardy rule, I think. As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute! He's not Masked Star Damask, even as far as the judge is concerned! It was I, chat. I was the one who got you with double jeopardy. You'll never see your precious Happy Meal again. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was found innocent. Then, Masked Star Damask is really innocent. It would seem so, for now. For now. Now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty. One on a technicality. Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because Maya doesn't call me much these days. Oh? I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of torn these days. You mean about becoming the master of the Karain channeling school? Becoming the master? You mean saying goodbye to our mother? Misty Faye, right? Watch over her, will you, Phoenix? Of course. Well then. See you around. Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though, now that all of this happened. Come on, just be happy already. Maya, I did it all for one reason, for her. Not a Duck is 500 bits, which is the price of a McDonald's Happy Meal. And they say, well, I guess a bet's a bet. Once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure. So that's why you became Masked Star Damask. Yes, but it's all over now. Broken bowl can never be put back together. Take your blood money and never talk to us again. Filthy chicken McNugget stealer. Mr. Delight, even if a bowl is broken, there is always a way to put it back together. You dropped your wallet, Ron. The sacred urn. Desi was the one who found this. Desiree, your wife. She's always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything. Ah! There you are! You did it, Ronnie! You're innocent! I'm so happy! Thank you, I appreciate that, but I suppose you don't want anything more to do with me, do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you'd quit KB security. I never imagined that you were really Master the Mask Eater. Mr. Light, what are you going to do now that you know? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast, there's no way he could ever get away. Sounds like a healthy relationship right there. But didn't you say that you hated criminals? Huh? Oh, I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective. I see. My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. Well, actually, that particular calling card was written by Detective Luke Atme to frame Ronnie. But I appreciate the sentiment, Desiree. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you have done for us. Oh, well, take care of yourself. You too, Nicky boy. I could feel my face going red. Mr. Nick, Mystic Maya, congratulations. Mr. Nick, how could you? With another man's wife? Oh, not this again. Pearl, please. Episode 2, The Stolen Turnabout. Much like your stolen McDonald's Happy Meal is at an end. A brand new episode has been added.
Wait, this court sees no reason to further prolong the trial. This case is extremely clear. I see no room for misinterpretation of the facts.
It wasn't me, I swear it wasn't me.
The evidence and testimony we have and heard are conclusive. The victim was alone at his table when he drank from that poisoned cup of coffee.
No, you're wrong. I know what I saw. I saw. What is going on? I saw someone else there. A man. He's the real killer. Was that Phoenix? We're not on trial for murder again, are we? Why won't anyone believe me?
Well, I'd say that pretty much wraps this case up, wouldn't you?
Mr. Wright?
This court finds a defendant. Wait, what? This court is adjourned.
What just happened? Right and we lost a case. The start of a new year always makes me feel like I can take on the whole world. I bet it does, Maya. So, I've decided that our resolution should be Zavari, take on the world. Sure, whatever, Maya. But I think maybe you've had more than enough mistletoe cake. Wait, isn't mistletoe poisonous? Yes, it is. Maya, I think you've had enough of the cake.
Hey, pal.
Happy New Year, Detective.
Likewise. Now listen up, Wright. I wanna.
Here's to another fruitful year of lawyer-police cooperation.
Yeah, me too. All right, pal. You've got some explaining to...
Have you got a holiday present for me, Detective?
A what? Well, here, have this. It's really nothing much, but...
Yay, thanks.
Look, pal, we need to have a talk. Take a seat.
Hey, what about Pearly? You haven't forgotten to...
Maya! Just stop talking for like 2 minutes, please.
Deadly poisoning brings guilty verdict. Defense attorney Wright trounced? Listen to this. Mr. Wright must take full responsibility for the ruling in this case.
Well, and don't tell me you don't remember anything about it.
But I don't remember anything about it. When was that issue from?
December of last year, which I guess makes it last month.
But I wasn't involved in a poisoning case in December.
If it wasn't you, pal, then that leaves only one possibility.
No way. You don't mean... a phony Nick?
You better make this right, pal. Now. And that means taking the case back to court, got it?
Sounds like we got our first case of the new year. Let's tackle it with gusto. I don't know, the judge already issued a guilty verdict once in this case. It's not going to be easy to get it overturned. If a client entrusts a case to me based on my reputation, I guess I am kind of responsible. This is an imposter, Phoenix. This is not on you. And yes, I know the implications of me saying that aloud are to the state and mental well-being of my Twitch chat audience. Some of you are like slamming your bottles of Mountain Dew to one side and like all you Doritos clearing the keyboard. Why would someone want to impersonate me? What sort of guy would do that? Like, how does that work legally too? Like, Your Honor, it wasn't me who was in court. This is so nerve-wracking waiting to meet our new client. I wonder just what kind of person you tricked and got found guilty. Keep it down, Maya. That kind of talk could ruin me. Ah! How could you, Mr. Wright? How could you do this to me? They put me in solitary. I haven't been able to stop crying. Aren't you? Yes, I am. I am totally and utterly let down. Are you? Wait, is that? That's Maggie Bird. Don't pretend you don't know me. It's me, Maggie, remember? Maggie Bird. Maggie Bird, she's the policewoman I defended that one time. She was accused of murdering her lover. He was a cop too. What are you doing in here? Didn't I get you acquitted? Oh sure, very funny. After that fifth rate defense job, you come in here and start making jokes? Better hurry up and tell her what happened, Nick. So that's where we stand right now. I'm sorry you've been caught up in another murder. My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. I vaguely remember saying the exact same thing last time. But don't mind, what's one more disaster in my life? At least now the real Mr. Wright is here with me. I won't let the world keep me down, sir. Okay, what's going on? What happened? This whole mess started on the 3rd of last month. And it happened at Tribulations. There were 2 men at the table, both drinking coffee. And then... one of the men slipped some poison into the victim's cup. The victim took just 1 sip and was gasping for air. I was so shocked, I passed out. You keep calling the guy the victim. Didn't you know the guy who was killed? Not at all. I'd never even seen the guy before. Oh. So she wouldn't have had a motive to kill him then, I guess. And the other man, the killer. You saw him, right? It's a very suspicious silhouette. So you saw the killer, but you were found guilty of the crime anyway. How come? You tell me, Mr. Wright. Guess the answer to my question is my phony. So if you saw the murderer, why are you still convicted? Because no one else saw. Saw what? Everyone testified that way. Mr. Armstrong, the customer, everyone. The victim was sitting alone at his table the whole time. And then, they found something a bit incriminating in my apron pocket. What? A small bottle of poison. Okay, so this is so similar to the first case. This has to be related somehow. Well, one of them had some sort of earpiece and an emo musician's look about them. And there was a sample CD on the table, sir. An earpiece and a sample CD, huh? Did you get a look at the CD at all? It had a band's name written on it. I think it was MC something. They must have been preparing for their debut, I guess. McDonald's. Maybe it was Mick Screwdriver. Get serious, Maya. It's McDonald's. We've already established this. It's a maid cafe. I mean, unfortunately with the outfit, it does seem to be going that way. McCafe. Everything's just gonna be McDonald's theme for the rest of the playthrough. We shouldn't have started this bet. Like, oh wow, RT's playing Trials and Tribulations. That's my favorite Phoenix Wright game. I wonder how he's getting on. Fuck you, chat. You're not getting your Happy Meal. They're gonna be confused. McTrials and McTribulations. I can't wait till we catch the Hamburglar. I met you in the visitor's room here. You were wearing one of your super sharp suits. Me? Yes, you, Mr. Wright. Then you got really worked up and passionate. I'm gonna get you cleared this time, he said. That's an accent there. Okay, I get the picture, but you've met me in person before. So how come you didn't realize that guy wasn't the real me? I guess looking back now, it was a little strange. Only a little. Well, okay, so you were a bit taller than normal, and you looked a bit shady, and your voice was a bit weird. Oh, and you had this kind of funny accent, and so the guy was nothing like me then. But he had your spiky hair and blue suit. Is that all it takes for someone to imitate me? How about everyone else in the courtroom, like the judge and the observers? Didn't they realize this was an imposter? Oh, she said it! She said it! You wanna know how I feel right now? Whoever it is that thought it was a good idea to use my name and get an innocent girl convicted of murder had better watch out. We'll find him, don't you worry. We'll get Zinni up for you. Thank you. Oh, I'll tell you where Tribulations is then. Right. The restaurant where the murder took place. Yes, sir. When you go, please tell Mr. Armstrong I say hi. Sure. Alright, Nick. Let's go check out this restaurant and its food. Are we just gonna encounter a character that just has, like, Phoenix's hair? And it is like, well, that's them, Your Honor. Oh, good God. Wow, look at this place. Look, more like smell. What is it with the suffocating scent of flowers in here? Hello, anyone here? I don't believe it. There really isn't anyone here. Perfect. Let's get intrusive. Huh? There's something stuffed in behind the rack. Looks like a sports paper to me. Hey, and look at this. Someone scribbled a little doodle on one of the pages. MC Bomber and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. $100,000, maybe? I wonder what MC Bomber is supposed to be. The Mick Bomber. Sports paper added to the court record. Okay, dates from December 3rd, the day of the incident, found at Tribulations. Paper from the day of the murder. This has got to be a clue. I should see if I can find out some more about this paper. This must be the table where the murder occurred. I guess so, with all this police tape around it. And that stain must be from the poisoned coffee. Don't go licking the tablecloth, okay, Maya? Why would I lick it? I'm not a cat, you know. Why can I picture you doing just that? Phoenix, you're one to talk. You literally ate poison. This restaurant has partitions that separate the tables. When you see that at a table, you can only see the tables to your right or left. Okay, I think that's everything here. Oh no, they finally arrested the mascot. They got him. He's been taken away. Mr. and Mrs. Badger seems to be cuffed together, Chief. You got it. That's marriage for you. Oh, a sports paper. Let's see. The Guts and Braun managed to defend his heavyweight title. Sorry, Maggie, that paper is actually a month old. It's from the day of the murder. Really? That's strange. Tribune doesn't get newspapers. Mr. Armstrong says he's not really fond of them. Anyway, what I want you to take a look at is this scribble here. Ah, that's it, sir. MC Bomber. That was the name that was written on the CD. So the sample CD was on the victim's table. That means this newspaper may have belonged to the victim. You're right. So the victim left this behind on the day of the murder, huh? I think we better step up the investigation, don't you, Nick? Ooh la la, bonjour. Welcome to La Tribune. Oh, hello. Bienvenue. Welcome to my petit restaurant. Huh? The Avenue. Oh no, my petit julep. Huh? Me? Look at this face. Like a kitten rejected by its own mother. You were fatigued, no? Alors, you need this. An aromatic bat oil melange of La Neroli and La Rose. My personal recommendation. Oh no, it's impossible to not do French. Oui, oui. Just add a couple of drops of the mixture to the bat water and voila. Alors, if you will be seated, I will bring you to la special menu of the day. Actually, we're not here to eat. We're lawyers. Mais bien sûr. I know this already, monsieur. You are the Phoenix Wright, no? Yes, you know me. Mais oui, oui. I'll never forget a man who flirts with me, especially in court. I guess he was cross-examined by a mysterious Zinnia. It looks like everyone to do with this case knows who I am already. Allow me to introduce myself to you again. I am Jean Armstrong. Enchanté. Jean? Is it Jean or John? I'm never really sure. Jean. I am le chef. I am le manager. I am also a trained aromatherapist. A Roman what? A practitioner de aromatherapy. La art of soothing la soul with the delicate floral aroma. This is the equivalent of like the Italian character that you see is like, it's a me. Let me buy you my pizza. Basically what's happening here. They're gonna mention baguettes in a moment. Croissant will be said. So it was the 3rd of last month, just after 1 in the afternoon. A man who was in here for a coffee suddenly became ill. Because of the poison in his coffee. That is the truth as I know it. It was Maggie who took his drink to him. I was in the kitchen. I heard the sound of someone collapsing. When I came out to see what it was, he was already slumped in his chair. He was dead. Mon Dieu, oui. He was dead. Maggie had passed out also. And this man who died, was he alone? Oui, monsieur. All alone. But I am not the only one. The old man said the same thing. Old man? What old man? Is it actually gonna do something here? It might. Please, monsieur, there is no need to show me that. You are Mon Phoenix Wright, the worst defense attorney in town. The last time we met, did I show you this badge? Oui. You flash it to everyone in the restaurant. Well, that does sound like me. I'm not surprised she was la prime suspect. After something like that took place before my very eyes. Something like what? What's this guy talking about? Does this mean Maggie did have a motive? Got to ask this guy for more info. Stat. If there was anything at all between Maggie and the victim, it could be relevant. So please, tell us anything you know. Oh no, it actually is a Cyclops. Jesus Christ. You've got more than anyone else in the game so far. What the? What's wrong? The Magatama, it's gone? I had it in my pocket, but it's vanished into thin air. Oh shit, I was wondering why it wasn't there, but I could see the Cyclops. Maybe that means the Magatam is nearby. Can I just confirm something with you again? The table where the victim was sitting. Was anyone else sitting there? That is the question you will have to ask him yourselves. Huh? Him? The old man spends all of his time down to the park. The park? Oh, a park. What park's that? Behind the restaurant. It is called Vitamin Square. Thank you. Je vous en prie, my dear. Let's go check out this Vitamin Square right now, Nick. Hey, Nick. That's the guy, right? Isn't that the old man Mr. Armstrong was talking about? That grouchy-looking grandpa. He's throwing seeds out for the pigeons. He's not throwing seeds for them. He's throwing seeds at them. Oh, hello? Would you mind if I had a word with you? Yeah. Just want to ask you a couple of questions.
What's the matter with you? Can't you see I'm busy? They don't like my seeds, hey, pigeons?
Excuse me, sir. Can I ask you about Maggie Bird?
I don't know any Maggie Bird.
Yes, you do. Maggie, the waitress at Tribulations.
Ha! It's a disgrace, I tell you.
A disgrace. A disgrace.
Innocent young girl revealing herself like that.
Revealing? You mean her uniform?
The youth of today. They don't have any shame. No shame, I tell you. Not 1 ounce.
But you went to the cafe. What about me? I'm not wearing anything revealing.
Your problem is you lack any sense of grace.
You go to Tribulations a lot.
That miserable excuse for a restaurant. The garbage they serve in there is not food. Where's the sushi, the tempura, the rice?
But you did go there.
Where do you think we are, boy? In Paris? I want real food, not those snooty snacks. What about those shameless girls?
You mean the waitresses?
You can see all the way up to there. There. Yes, the waitress.
He's a boomer. He's a hypocrite. He's a pervert. He's gonna be wanted by the police soon. It's just, if you dislike it so much, why would you keep going there? Sir?
There you are, you filthy pigeons. You want food? Take that.
A magazine full of job listings.
You disgusting rogue, picking up something someone else threw away.
Threw away? Did you throw this away? Are you looking for a job?
That's none of your business.
Sorry, I guess I'll just take the magazine with me then.
I don't want anyone else having it. Give it back.
Too bad. Now that you don't want it so bad, I don't want to give it up. We're just stealing his magazine now. Mooncow, thank you for 500 bits. Here's some McNuggets money, Dan. Also, why are the oranges and banana laid out like that? Get your mind out of the gutter. Are you looking for a job? Well, no, I was just, let me see. Your style is un peu différent, but you have a good face. Different? Félicitations, you have passed. I will hire you. Bien, come with me. I will teach you everything I know. Nick, help! Oh, Maya's been kidnapped again. Do we just abandon Maya? Yeah, let's just abandon Maya.
Well, pal, have you found the evidence yet? The ones that's gonna find her innocent?
No, not yet. I'll just start an investigation.
Whatever you need to know, I'll give you the dirt on it. I'm putting off all my other cases for now, pal. The retrial's been approved. Court's sitting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And Gatto's gonna be the prosecutor.
Oh, him.
Now listen up, pal. If Maggie's found guilty again,
yes?
I'll make sure you get locked up for good for it. Got it? Hey, what's with the funny looks, pal? I was just her. It wasn't anything like... Look, sure, I was her boss when she was doing her training. But that was it. Nothing happened.
Gumshoe sure is sweating up a storm over nothing. So that's it. Our big old Gumshoe is a little old crush on Maggie.
It's not like I like her or anything, Baka. I was...
Note to self. Gossip with Maya about this later. Did you fill me in on the victim?
Glenn Elg. He was a computer programmer. He was just a regular Joe working for a small-time computer firm. Maggie never had any contact with the guy before that day. And all she did was take him his coffee on the day of the murder, pal.
Yeah, Maggie also claimed to have never seen the guy before. What possible reason could Maggie have had to kill a guy like that?
That's what I thought. But a motive was still somehow established in her trial.
You're kidding. What was her supposed motive?
Sorry, pal. I'm real busy. I haven't even got enough time to sift through these papers. The biggest problem with Maggie's testimony is the number of people at the table.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. Maggie still insists there was another guy sitting with the victim.
And then there's that CD.
CD?
Oh yeah, she did mention something about a CD. But our guys turned that place upside down. There was no CD. What? Not on the table. Not anywhere in the whole restaurant, pal.
But didn't Maggie say the victim was wearing an earpiece too?
Yeah, but that was for the portable radio in the front pocket of his hoodie. The radio? He didn't have a CD player. You got it. Your phony never explained that contradiction at all. What's that, a sports paper? Yeah, I found it in the magazine rack at Tribulations. It's dated the same day as the murder. You may be onto something. Take a look at this. See this writing here. MC Bomber. Hey, what is it? I've heard that name somewhere before. Yeah, MC Bomber. It's no good. I can't remember. Hey, pal, I'm gonna borrow this paper for a bit, okay? I want to get a handwriting analysis done in a scribble. Handwriting, huh? Be good to know more about that in any case. Thanks, pal. I bet this will turn out to be an interesting clue. Sports paper given the detective gumshoe. Okay. I wasn't at the trial myself, but I asked this one detective I know how your defense was. He said you sucked so much, it seemed like you were trying to get Maggie found guilty. Luckily, I was trying to get Maggie found guilty. Yeah, I mean, whoever was impersonating me obviously did it. My main question was our fucking goofy judge overseeing this case, because I swear to God if he was, and if he couldn't tell, it wasn't us. Like, I'm gonna strangle the man. Like, that's it. Like, I'm so sick of his shit. He needs a forced retirement. He was in the cutscene. Judge Goofy. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. I don't care if I go to trial for this one. The scent of flowers sure is strong. It's almost making me dizzy. Hello? Well, goodbye. Welcome, B Avenue. Wow, what a cute voice. Oh, it's just you, Nick. Maya. Well, how do I look? Maybe you should quit being a spirit medium. Phoenix, please. Hey, Nick, why don't you order something? The chef's preparing a tasty lunch set at the moment, or so he says. How much is it? It's the twin tea set, so it's $20, of course. Oh, about the lunch. Oh, a fine choice, sir. No, Kitchen, a lunch special, please. With all the extras. Drinks, side salad, dessert, and a gift. I don't need any of that. Just a moment, please, sir. So how much is the set lunch then? $20, huh? With the drink, side, salad, and dessert, it's $45. It's expensive. Hey, wait a sec, Maya. Sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Here you are. A deluxe fortified lunch set. Oh, wait, no, it's straight up lobster, though. Right, lobster, huh? All right, down the hatch it goes. He's gonna eat it with the shell intact. Well? Are you hungry, Maya? I'm starving. Here, it's yours. Really? Remember, Maya, my wallet doesn't print money, so you better polish off that plate. I just remembered. I've got to clean the toilets. Hey, Trebian lunch special added to the court record. This will be important for the crime later. Hey, Nick, you want to take a peek at the kitchen? The kitchen, huh? Not a bad idea. And here it is, the famous Trebian kitchen. My first time in here too, actually. There's a weird atmosphere in here, that's for sure. Mr. Armstrong will be back soon, so we better search quickly. Chop, chop. Like, look! Right there on the counter. A Magatama, what's it doing there? Okay, how was that stolen? On loan from Maya, recovered in the kitchen of Tribulations. A lot of bottles of something here. What's this? It looks like a treasure chest or something. Wow, look at all these little bottles. Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. He's got so many. They're overflowing onto the floor. Let's see. They're all the same, too. 100 of them. Hey, wait a minute. What is it? There's one bottle that's different from all the others. What do you know? And it doesn't have a label either. And it doesn't smell. So what's that liquid inside then, I wonder? Oh shit, is this... Hey Nick, we should borrow this. Is this the poison? I mean, look how many bottles he's got. He won't miss one, will he? There's a book in the dresser. Clarice Armstrong's Bedtime Literature. Not exactly a Pulitzer Prize material, is it? It looks like a collection of poems he's written. Poems? Cool. Read one out. And say it in your best French accent with intensity, okay? Okay, here's one. It's called Printemps. The two of them, like actors from a film. The coffee, still undrunk. Sweet nothing's over too soon. On that Sunday morning, the foolish cocktail, so delicious. Takes the last sip of your tea. I know what I will do. I must lie to you. I must. Vitamin Square. The old guy's not here anymore.
Dratton, I still have some answered questions for him. A scooter, huh? You leave it right in the middle of the park like this. The wheel guard and the light are busted. Guess there must have been an accident. It's totally wrecked. Oh! Tremendous scream. It's him. He's the criminal. He did it. So he pretended to be us in court because he murdered the person in the cafe. My guess is from his appearance that he's something to do with a record label. My question is, especially like the tan and like the facial scar, and how do people think this was Phoenix?
What do you think you was doing with my bike?
No, I was just...
Grah! You was been messing with my new ride. Is that what you was been doing?
It's changing.
Hey, I'm walking here. I'm walking. You was been messing with my new ride. Is that what you was been doing?
I ought to beat you so hard. I'm really struggling.
I'm walking here. I ought to beat you so hard it'll feel like you was smooching the express train. I'm gonna round up a group of lawyers, and then you's gonna pay.
Actually, I'm somewhat of a lawyer myself.
What do you say?
I'm Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. Phoenix Wright. You saying you Phoenix Wright? Yeah, I am. So you a wise guy too, huh? Cause I'm Phoenix Wright. The one and only. This case is over. What? Out of my way, I got a cruise. He's gone. Surely that guy wasn't my phony, was he? He wasn't anything like me. Guess I better make a note of the scooter. Ridden by my phony, the wheel guard is all smashed up.
If you dress from a little brat like that, and you look like a pigeon that's got seeds in its eyes.
Have you been here the whole time then?
I was in that strawberry.
I had some thinking to do. Okay. You're a regular at that restaurant, sir. It's just that if you dislike it so much, why do you keep going there? Sir? No, he's not talking. Oh, here's the site clock. Okay. We didn't get this before. Yo, what's happening back here? Hey, you're just in time. What is it, Detective Gumshoe? The lab got back to me about that newspaper you gave me. They said the doodle was written by the victim, Glenn L. No doubt about it. I expected as much. The victim took the paper with him to the restaurant on the day of the murder. That's our best interpretation of the facts at the moment. Okay, left by the victim, doodle is in the victim's handwriting. I get the feeling I've heard that name somewhere before. Oh well, guess it'll come back to me. Don't forget to report back to me whatever you find in the restaurant, okay, pal? Since when did I start taking orders from Gumshoe? Although, I get the feeling there's something I need to show him. You got one of those aroma bottles too, pal? Huh? Okay, at least we can do something with this. Only this one doesn't smell. Huh? I don't get you. This was mixed in with all the other aromatherapy bottles, but it's not the same. It doesn't even look the same, wouldn't you agree? Cologne bottle doesn't smell, huh? Smells like a skunk to me, pal. Mind let me borrow that bottle for a while? I want to send it to the lab for analysis. The victim was poisoned, so the contents of this bottle are pretty important. You ever had lunch at Tribulations, pal? Yes. So how was it? Put it nicely, it was inedible. Hey, don't worry about being nice around me, pal. You and I both know the reason that place is so empty is because of the food. The real scoop on the guy is up to his ears in debt. Really, how much does he owe? This is a copy of his loan contract. He's about $500,000 in the red. $500,000, are we talking dollars? Okay. Wait, so what's going on here? There is a $500,000. Sorry, that figure just took me by surprise. Yeah, this case is full of surprises. And I'd be willing to bet the chef's got something to do with most of them. That's my hunch. It's time you told me the truth. Why are you a regular at the restaurant that you dislike so much?
Isn't it obvious? People only have one reason to go to restaurants. To eat.
To eat? Is that the whole truth?
What do you mean?
Oh god, I'm slipping into Walter White.
You insolent brat. How dare you accuse me? What proof have you got?
It fits. It does fit. Here's some of the food I had earlier. It was awful. Proof is in the pudding. Or in this case, the lunch menu.
That's a twin tea set.
Food at Tribulations is terrible and expensive.
You're wrong. It's cheap.
Huh?
I'm rich. I inherited money when I was a boy. Yes, I'm stinking rich. I haven't done a jot of work since I was born, other than feeding the pigeons.
What a load of crock.
A magazine.
Why would a rich retiree be looking for a job?
So what? I don't go by that restaurant for food. I just go for the cappuccino.
Yeah, I think you mean a cappuccino. Anyway, how much does the cappuccino cost there?
$8.
I was just wondering if the coffee there is really that great.
No, it's not.
But
anyway, yes. That place has free newspapers to read every day.
Newspapers?
Exactly. They don't want me hanging around at home, so I go there.
I'm sorry, sir. But there are no free papers to read at Tribulations. This was the only paper there, and it's dated more than a month ago. Still a weird way of proving that there's no newspapers in the facility by producing a newspaper from the facility, but we'll allow it. Tell me, why are you so determined to hide the truth?
I'm not hiding anything.
Gonna have to put this guy out of his misery. Listen, the real reason why you go so much to Tribulations is... it's not because of Maggie, is it? The uniform. This guy's a creep.
What are you asking me about that girl for?
She was the waitress at Tribulations. Ah! Therefore, the answer to the mystery of why an old man would drink expensive coffee at a terrible restaurant is the waitress.
Ah! I don't recognize that face.
And you're probably telling the truth here. Because you weren't looking at the girl's face. You disgust me.
Yes, it's true, I was there for the young girl. Fine, so I'm a dirty, wicked, sinful old devil. You'll be the same. Another 20 years, you'll understand what it's like. Don't know how painful it is to be an old man like me. I have a nickname, you know. I have a name, you know, boy. So show some respect.
I'm Victor Kudo. Okay. No longer old man.
You young ones think you know it all, don't you? Well, I'm not saying another word. I won't tell you anything more.
This guy was in the restaurant at the time of the incident. Which means I have to hear his testimony one way or another. Really? So even after all of that, like, he's not gonna tell me anything? Hey, Maya, would you mind coming with me for a while? Huh? Me? Why? Something I really want to ask that old man. Oh, this is uncomfortable. Sure, okay. I'll just get changed. No, hang on. Can you go like that? I guess.
Well, I see.
Nick, his eyes are burning into me. It's okay. I think it's going pretty well. Everything about this is awful.
You're still just a little child. Run along and play on the slide, alright?
Play on the slide? Excuse me, please, sir.
Quiet, can't you see I'm feeding the... Pidge?
I can't believe they've done this. About the incident.
You mean the man who died after drinking the Javicino?
Like he's a different person.
The girl took the Javicino over to him, you see.
And was the customer alone?
Definitely, he was the only person at the table. Then he took one sip of his Javicino and he said something like, yeah, and then collapsed, dead.
Oh, how terrifying.
Be careful of that chef, my dear.
The chef? You mean Mr. Armstrong?
That's right, the man's an ex-con.
Okay, like, it's too convenient to frame him. Absolutely too convenient. It's the other guy who we know impersonated us in court, who's clearly already committed a crime of some kind.
He steals things from his customers.
From his customers?
Gloves, handkerchiefs, little things mainly. He's a pilferer, so you be careful around him, my dear.
Yeah, but clearly he was, and he's trying to, like, do things different now. Are you sure about this?
Of course, he was arrested for it once. I was there when it happened, having my Javicino.
He really is a regular.
Let me write you a little haiku about it.
A haiku?
Japanese poem, it'll explain all you need to know about that chef.
Oh, this is gonna be taken into court evidence at some point, isn't it? Convicted before a wicked man or woman, repeat offender. Hey, Victor, you're really getting up there for being worst character. You're really getting up there. With a la, Mademoiselle Maya. Non, how can you leave me like this? I'm sorry. That reminds me. Mr. Armstrong had a Psych Locker 3, didn't he? I have to know the truth. What happened that day? Alois, I will confess everything. Just don't hurt me. Huh? That was a new world record? It was a lottery ticket? The man who died here had a lottery ticket. For $500,000. $500,000? Oui. But after the incident, this ticket. It disappeared. You've been trying to hide this information about the lottery ticket from me. And I want to know the reason why. No, monsieur, you doubt me. But I have confessed to you everything I know. Mr. Armstrong, the $500,000 lottery ticket. I think I know who took it. Like the winning ticket was stolen by this person. Oh shit, did he take it? Mr. Armstrong, I believe there's a very high probability that it was you. He didn't kill the guy, But he's committed a crime here. Mais pourquoi moi? Why, you have no evidence. I am not masked to start a mask. I'm not the kind of person who steals the property of others. Sorry to disappoint you, Mr. Armstrong, but I have evidence to the contrary. I present to you proof that you have stolen from others in the past. I'm sorry to have to bring it up, Mr. Armstrong, but you've been arrested for stealing from your customers before, haven't you? So, do you have any proof? I want to see that incontestable proof that I have ever stolen from one of my customers. Did he steal the newspaper? Imbecile, imbecile, you are an imbecile. Come on, Sir, sing together with me. Imbecile, imbecile, you are an imbecile. Oh, we're just getting fucking roasted. Oh, no! He stole my Magatama! That's what it is! I'm overthinking it! What is that? This is my Magatama. And I found it in your kitchen. No! Mais non, why would I steal it? I have no need for such money. Really now? Oh, monsieur, what is it? This restaurant is deep in the red, isn't it? Ah! You have a loan. To the tune of $500,000. That lottery ticket would have wiped away out your debts. Well, Mr. Armstrong, what do you have to say for yourself now? Ah. Okay, we got him. He said that the victim had a winning lottery ticket for $500,000. How did you know he had something like that in the first place? The man, he was listening to the radio with the earpiece. The winning number was announced on the news, I think. All of a sudden, he exploded. Yes, $500,000, he shouted. He had all of his tickets spread out on the tablet. On the table. I was so desperately in need of money, so I put the poison in his coffee. No, I don't think he did that. No. Oh no, you naughty man. I simply helped myself to one of his tickets. What? The victim collapsed and Maggie passed out. I thought to myself, pourquoi pas? He had so many of them. Yeah, but only one of them was the winning ticket, right? How could you do that, Mr. Armstrong? Maggie was arrested because of you. I did not take it. The ticket for $500,000, I mean. But you just told us you did. You said you took a ticket. Mais non, ma fille. It was not. That's enough. Huh? Ah! Oh shit. Mr. Gatto! Perhaps Mr. Armstrong stole one of the victim's tickets on the day in question. I am La Ed, no? Just a pretty little girl who everyone is laughing at. But in that case, Maggie shouldn't be the only one under suspicion. Mr. Armstrong made off with the winning ticket's pretty neighbor. So, the ticket he took was worthless? Not quite. He did win something. $1. What happened to the winning ticket then? The one he meant to steal? Indeed, what did happen to it? I don't like spoiling myself by watching trailers, so we'll just wait and see how the movie turns out tomorrow, won't we? Oh, goddamn, he's so smooth. To be continued.